Hello YouTube, and welcome to a bit of a different lore video. Today we celebrate the fact that the channel has garnered 25,000 subscribers. It's been a while, but you know, just give me the celebration. And we're gonna do it with sweet rolls and some other Elder Scrolls dishes. Me and my girlfriend have cooked some Elder Scrolls dishes, and now I will tell you the lore on each of the dishes and I'll show you the video of us making it. And once we covered all the lore, I will answer some Q&A questions at the end that you guys left on a post back when the whole celebration was relevant. Now I realize that there are people who aren't into all of this Q&A and live footage, so I decided to record the lore separately as well. So down in the description there is a link to a video covering all the lore I cover in this video. That's basically for the people that don't want to see all the cooking, so if that's the case, I will see you in that video, and no hard feelings or anything, although I think that this video is probably more fun. So with that said, let's roll the intro, and let's begin with the video. Alright, welcome. So we have made 4 things: a starter, a main dish, a dessert and some tea for in the evening later on. Everything that we made was purely vegetarian, not for us, but so that our dear cameraman Sam can join us for dinner. And it's probably good for the planet and stuff. So for starters we made Shara's famous potato bread. Some of you might remember this from a quest in Oblivion. For the main course we made some traditional Dunmer Kwama egg quiche. For desserts we made some sweet rolls, of course, that goes with celebration. And finally we made some traditional Nordic Red Mountain flower tea, which was really bitter. So let's quickly begin. So what we were making here was Shara's famous potato bread. Some of you who played Oblivion might know this dish already, as it's part of a quest where you have to help Shara, a Khajiit woman at Oblivion's Fark-like inn, close to the Imperial city. And in that quest you need to help her get her potatoes back, so she can make some famous potato bread. In the games it's made with special jumbo potatoes, but the ones that we are using are just normal potatoes. But these jumbo potatoes are special potatoes that Shara grows herself and nurtures herself. She spends a lot of work on her potato bread and claims that they are so delicious that everybody in Tamriel wants them, and that her potato bread is more valuable than gold. According to the official cookbook that we used for all the recipes in this video, she eventually shared her recipe, which spread over Tamriel and is now especially popular in Skyrim, as in Skyrim wheat has become a lot more expensive due to the civil war that is raging on in the province. So a lot of Nords have now adapted this recipe so that they can add potato to their bread in order to stretch their supply of flour. So according to the recipe, this potato bread is used making some jumbo potatoes, some butter, some salt, an egg, some flour and a teaspoon of Imperial seasoning. This Imperial seasoning, as I told in the lore video on food that aired a few months ago, is standard in the Imperial army and it's mostly used by cooks of the Legion. Over the years, however, this kind of seasoning has also become popular with Tamriel's general population, even in provinces like Skyrim where the Legion itself isn't viewed too favorably nowadays. The seasoning is a combination of flavors with bright citrus profile from coriander and is mostly used with vegetables and fish dishes, but also with this kind of potato bread. So what we were working on here was the Kwama egg quiche. This is a recipe that's traditionally only known in Morrowind, specifically Vvardenfell, and the quiche is made using eggs of Kwamas, which are large insects native to Vvardenfell that live in large colonies underground. While they are kept for their eggs, each colony is led by a queen. The queen is usually too fat to do any work herself, and thus the others have to do the work for the queen. Usually this dish was pretty niche and was only ever eaten in Vvardenfell, but after the eruption of the Red Mountain, this dish was brought to the other provinces of Tamriel by the Dunmer refugees. The recipe for Kwama egg quiche became quite popular, especially within the Empire where most of the Dunmer fled, and many regional variants sprang up over the years since the eruption of the Red Mountain, where the things like spices, exact types of cheese and the types of eggs was used and changed. As Kwama eggs were harder to come by in the other provinces, it was usually adapted to use other eggs, like for example chicken eggs, but especially the Dunmer themselves really still prefer the original recipe with the Kwama eggs. So here we are preparing the tea for after our dinner. But instead of drinking Earl Grey tea, we had the idea to make some Elder Scrolls themed tea. What we are now preparing here is Red Mountain flower tea. All around Tamriel, in mountainous climates, you can find mountain flowers. These flowers are very popular with alchemists for their alchemical properties, but the red variant of this mountain flower is also very popular with the Nords, who use the flower to make tea on the side of the road while traveling the mountains. It's a very bitter tea, and usually people drink it with some sugar or honey, but the true Nords drink it unsweetened, enjoying the tartness that the flower lends the tea. It's a traditional Nordic recipe that uses not only the mountain flowers, but also has some traditional Nordic spices, which the Nords usually use to give some more taste to recipes with cold weather vegetables, but it can also be used for hot drinks, dessert and baking. So, one more thing, the Red Mountain flower tea is actually not the Red Mountain flower tea, so it's not specifically linked to the Red Mountain, but it's Red Mountain flower tea, so just the mountain flowers in the red variant.
A few moments later.
Alright, so look in the cup, this is the Red Mountain flower tea, and we heard that the real Nords drink it unsweetened. Fuck this.
Bottoms up?
This is my camera guy Sam, and we're gonna do bottoms up now, so wish us luck. 3, 2, 1. Oh god. Oh fuck. Oh.
12 seconds later.
Here we are working on a dessert, the sweet rolls. This is probably the most famous dish Tamriel has to offer, and it's almost universally liked across the continent, and it's a running gag throughout the Elder Scrolls series of games. I mean, probably most well-known gag is the guard who jokes about your sweet roll being stolen in Skyrim. Now, there isn't much lore on the sweet roll itself, other than the fact that its appearance has changed over the years, as in the second era during the Elder Scrolls Online and in the third era during Oblivion, the sweet roll looked very different from their fourth era depictions in the Elder Scrolls Blades, Legends and Skyrim. Now, there might not be a lot of lore on them, they are basically just small cakes with some icing on the top. I did find a very interesting headcanon Reddit post which gives some fun perspective on what different types of sweet rolls could be like. This post is absolutely not canon, so I won't talk about it here, but I will put a link to the post in the description of this video. I can really recommend reading it, as the author gave some interesting perspectives on what other provinces' sweet rolls might taste like. So, you know, if you're interested in that kind of thing, read it. So this was it for the cooking video. We had a pretty nice Elder Scrolls themed dinner. Unfortunately, the people present at the dinner didn't want to get filmed, so we don't really have any footage of us eating it. But before I end this video, I really want to thank all of you for amazing dedication over the years. When I started this channel, I never really thought that I would get this far, especially since my content isn't really the type of content that the YouTube algorithm likes, since it's really specific, non-clickbait and more academical than entertaining. So, from the bottom of my heart, thank you to everyone who has always watched my videos, but also thanks to the people who just watched a few, and even of those who just subscribed and never watched the video again. Basically, to everyone who has supported my channel, even in the slightest, I say thank you. We reached these 25,000 subscribers, which is quite the milestone, and it's basically all thanks to you. So, thank you. I wish I could offer you a sweet roll in celebration, but the ones that we made, they're all gone now because I ate most of them. That said, this is the end of the video. I will see you all coming Thursday in the next regular Elder Scrolls lore video, which I can hopefully still do for quite some time, if YouTube doesn't, you know, die out of whatever is going on right now with all kind of new legislation, and it worries me, but I'm glad we reached 25,000 subscribers before YouTube's death. Bye bye. First of all, the most liked question from Lady of Scrolls. How many bubble in bath? I don't know, I'd say like 4. Don't know. Then next, Jessica Fisher asks, do you have a job or is YouTube your full-time job? Well, I do have a job. I'm a study coach and tutor on the side. I basically help high school children get their shit in a row, help them with their homework, and help them with studying for tests, those kind of thing. I mean, I kind of always wanted to be a teacher, not really, because I didn't choose the profession to study it, as I'm more interested in politics in general. But teacher came to a close second, and with this job I can have all the fun and help children either way and teach them shit. So, I mainly give physics to them and chemistry and sometimes math, English too. I mean, you might not say it from my terrible accent and sometimes my terrible grammar in my videos, but whenever I put in some effort I can do some decent English. Yeah, and I also of course teach like national politics to them and sometimes history and geology, like basically everything. I just help them with their homework and I teach small classes. That's basically my job. Then next from Farron Saber, who's your favorite and least favorite follower in Skyrim? This is gonna sound real cliche, but I think that my favorite follower is at least Serana, because she's probably one of the followers with the most depth to them. I mean, she's essentially like a precursor to the followers in Fallout 4, which had a way larger backstory than most of the followers in Skyrim. So I can really appreciate that. And least favorite follower, I don't know. I think Lydia, because she's so basic. And no, I don't really have like a least favorite follower. Like, I wouldn't say Miko, because I really like Miko as like an idea to have a dog, but I hated the fact that he dies so quickly and that he isn't really strong. But that's basically it. Gabriel the Obsessive asks, what is your favorite in-game book? I actually have 2. One is probably The Account of the Great War, and the other one is The Disaster at Ionith. I really like both, not because of the information in it, but more the way it's written, as like an actual report of how the things went, these military campaigns. Yeah, I really like that for some reason. Always liked it. Boomba is total, and yeah, I can't pronounce this. What's your favorite Elder Scrolls raids? Well, I think that's obvious, probably Imperials. What's your favorite Adra and Daedra? Ask Red Dawn, XX Red Dawn. Well, I think I really like Maroon's Dagon, just from Oblivion, because I really liked Oblivion. And in terms of Adra, I still think Akatosh, because of dragons. I know, I'm just like casual. Let me be. What's your favorite quest or questline? Ask secretly a melon. Favorite questline is probably Dawnguard, but that's mostly because I've really written like a long novelization of the questline, which really let me relate to it way more than any other questline. Like I've been busy with that questline in my head for way longer than any other questline. Christian Lalande asks, more of a cat or a dog person? Cats. I know, I like the fact that cats are very independent and that you don't have to take care of them for a lot while they are still nice and you can still take care of them. But a dog actually needs like, I don't know, more energy put in, and I'm already a pretty busy person. GH asks, do you get to the Cloud District very often? I'm gonna give an ironic answer and I say yes, because I really like Whiterun. But that's basically it. Max K asks, what's your sexy accent? Well, I'm from the Netherlands, so it's Dutch. Hope asks, favorite guild / faction of all time? And also, if I get to the Cloud District very often. Favorite guild or faction? That's a hard one, actually. Because I kinda like the Fighters Guild and the Mages Guild, both. But then I find, for example, the Synod and the College of Whispers, which came from the Mages Guild. I find those interesting in a lore perspective, but you can't join them in any of the games, but they still exist. So, not sure. Andrew Bohr asks, what province to you is the most intriguing in terms of lore? Cyrodiil, because it was first ruled by the elves, the Aliens of course, and then basically it became the heart of many human empires, and it's seen so much strife. And I know that for a lot of people the favorite province in terms of lore is Morrowind, because of the very deep and intrigue lore, but that kind of lore never really spoke to me. I've always been more of the political lore and the more historical side of things. I mean, that's really reflected in my content. So yeah, I'd say Cyrodiil definitely. Best/favorite person in lore, asks Mr. Glaze. I think Uriel the Fifth, because he invaded Akavir, and I really like that book. I really like that story. I actually did it twice on this channel. Or maybe Titus Mead II, because he's so controversial and there's a lot of political stuff around him. I mean, that's something you guys probably figured out by now from me, that I like that kind of thing. So, Audio Sugar asks, tonal architecture, would you ever be interested in creating a guide on manipulating it and using it from a universe and out of universe's perspective? I've become fascinated by it and you're the perfect person to do so. I am far from the perfect person to do so, since that kind of the lore and the more metaphysical side of the lore really doesn't speak to me. I know that I'm probably filthy casual for it, but I'm more of like the grounded historical lore. I can really recommend YouTubers like Aramithius and I think Kuyo named his channel Daft something. Anyway, he's in my recommended list. These guys, they are way better at explaining the more metaphysical lore than me. While I'll probably get into it someday, I have to say that I'm not really going to cover any of it, since it'll never, whatever explanation I do on metaphysical stuff, it's always going to be inferior to what those guys can do, since my perspective on history, real life and Elder Scrolls is very grounded and very like realistic, not in the way whether it's real or not, but like the political philosophy, and it's more grounded. So yeah, don't really wait for me to try and explain metaphysical lore, since I can't do it. I'm sorry. Let's see, next fun question. What's your favorite weapon in Oblivion and Skyrim? Asks Darth Delek 777. Oblivion, gonna be a hard one. I know that my favorite piece of equipment is like the the Amulet of Kings, because I really like how it looks. Favorite weapon, I don't really know. Actually, I really have no idea. And for Skyrim, I don't know, I don't really like how the weapons in Skyrim look, but I think that I always really like the design of the Elven Sword, especially with the Lean Wolf weapon set, but that's modded, so not really sure. GH is once again back with a question. If you could be any race living at any time apart from periods when the entire continent is at peace, like after Tiber's conquest, what would you be and when? I would definitely want to be someone in Hammerfell during the Great War, because that seemed like one of, like, not because it would be a good time to live, like it would probably be like the shittiest place to live during the Great War, because and you're living in a desert and your ass is getting invaded, but I don't know, it seems interesting to me. Sorry. Queasy Panda asks, where would you like the next Elder Scrolls game to be set? I want it to be in Elsewhere and Valenwood, but it seems that everybody has basically concluded that it's in Hammerfell or in High Rock, or a mixture of both of them, so it's probably not gonna happen. Prime President asks, what's the most obscure / irrelevant lore that you know? The STDs. I mean, come on. I don't know why I made a video about STDs in the Elder Scrolls universe, but it was just hilarious to me, and somebody asked me to do it. There was like this comment, right, which said, can you look into the STDs of Tamriel? And I'm like 90% sure that this guy just meant it as like a joke. But the thing is, whenever you post that kind of things, like look into something really obscure that's probably not even there, that's stupid, I just have to do it. Like, I saw that comment and I was like, I'm just gonna drop my video of this week. I'm gonna postpone it to next week. I'm just gonna work 2 days straight until I did a video on STDs. So that kind of happened. And then finally, the final question under the thread. What's your favorite house in Fire Emblem Three Houses? Not gonna lie, it's the Black Eagles. For those who haven't played it, pretty controversial. A bit like the Imperials versus Stormcloaks thing, where people either hate or love one of the two sides. And I really like the Black Eagles because I've studied the lore of the game a bit. And I've concluded that in the long run, that's probably like the best ending. I'm not gonna spoil anything for anyone, since I know that the people that still want to play it sometime, they really like to not be spoiled. I think it's the best ending in the end, but it's the lesser route in terms of gameplay. I've actually prepared a Fire Emblem Three Houses lore video, but I've figured that it's it's even on. I have a full script and I've completely recorded it, but I just never uploaded it because I felt like it wouldn't be very good for my current demographic. Like, not many people would be interested in it. If people are interested in it, I can just stick it to an upload and I can just upload it like tomorrow. So let me know if you're interested in that kind of thing. So the final question that I had came to me via Discord. Actually, I have two more questions. One was done by Mr. DJ Changelog, and he asked me whether I wanted to do any sponsorships, especially since that now YouTube has become so much fuckery. No, because I don't like to be a sellout. Usually sponsorships basically make you tell whatever they want, and I don't really want to do that. Like, I want to use my own words. Probably the only sponsorships I'll ever take are two sponsorships from Audible when they let me give away free audiobooks, but that's because the Elder Scrolls novels are on there, and I think everybody should have read them. And if I can give the listening version to you for free, I'll probably do it. But yeah, that. And then we had one more question, if I can find it. Alright. Do you prefer the main questline of Oblivion or Skyrim? Oblivion. I really like Oblivion's main questline. And why? Because it's in Cyrodiil, and you're helping the hero instead of you're being the hero. I know that a lot of people don't think that way, but I really like helping the hero instead of being the hero, and I hope that the Elder Scrolls 6 features a similar plot. But yeah, that was the end of it.